We have some momentum from a couple of good wins here in a row, and we certainly want to try to keep that going. I told our guys yesterday, or I don't know what day it is anymore. We played Tuesday off Wednesday practice. So I told them yesterday, this is the most improved team in the ACC, in my opinion, without a doubt. They have one of the best backcourts in the league, if not in the country. They got the leading scorer in the ACC, and Jerome Robinson. So a very, very potent and dangerous basketball team. What they did against Duke earlier this year obviously was pretty remarkable. And then, any team that goes to Virginia and has a chance to win the game with the last possession is extremely talented and dangerous. So, we just got to continue to get better and got to be ready to go on Sunday.
David, during this streak, has there been something different in your guys that you've noticed?
Somebody asked, I think Paul might ask me that last night on my radio show, and, I didn't really have an answer for him. I think, it's not like all of a sudden we just went from playing really bad to playing really well. I mean, we've been playing pretty well all year. We were close in a couple, like we've talked about a lot with Purdue, Seton Hall, Clemson, those kinds of games, and I think just the difference being in the last couple, we've been able to come out on the top in those games. The Florida State game, the Notre Dame game. So, our guys are just playing with confidence. They're playing well. They're playing for each other. That's the one thing I really take away from the films from a non-X's and O's standpoint is how much these guys really pull for each other. I mean, just to watch the bench, watch the players on the court, and just their reactions and everything. I mean, they're really enjoying what they're doing right now, and they want to continue to practice hard and play hard and try to keep getting as many wins as we can.
What went into your thing? You started with Malik Williams now 5 games in a row. I think. What went into your thinking when you put him in the lineup, and what do you like about how that's turned out?
Well, honestly, the reason he started was Honest got sick. But, and it wasn't, I said this at the time, it wasn't because Honest got sick that I started him. He earned it. I mean, after the Kentucky game, we had those 3 days of practice before we played Pitt, and he practiced extremely hard, extremely well. And so I didn't hesitate to give him a chance to play. And, he's been playing well when he's in there. I mean, I know he's not playing 20 or 25 minutes a game, but he's been effective when he's been in there. Our first group has seemed to get us off to a pretty good start in each game. So, and to be able to bring someone like Honest off the bench obviously is very valuable because anytime you sub, you not only want to maintain what you have, but, in a case like Honest, you actually, you even get maybe a little bit better just because he's a senior and he's older. So, we seem to be in a good spot with those first 5, and then our bench is comfortable with their role as well.
What makes their backcourt so dangerous?
Their ability to score. I mean, they got the leading scorer in the ACC. If you look at their, I don't know if they're here, but their ACC stats in league play, I mean, they got 2 guys shooting over 50% from 3. Robinson himself is shooting over 50% from the field and 3. And so they're just very, very dangerous. They make almost 10 threes a game. I mean, they're just extremely capable of making 14, 15, 16 threes in a game. So, you got to be ready. You got to be alert. Even up there last year, they hit some really tough contested threes, but that's just what they do. And you can't be surprised by any shot they take, and you got to try to make sure you challenge everything, and then you got to come back and rebound the ball.
What's Bowman like? What's he? Is he mostly 3-point shooter? Is he a penetrator?
No, he can do both. Yeah, I mean, he and Jerome can do both. I mean, they're both very talented. Jerome's been on a lot of, from what I've seen and been told, he's been on a lot of NBA radars because he's got good size. 6'5", 6'6", shoots the ball extremely well, and they're multi-dimensional players. They're not just guys that you put in the corner and say shoot a bunch of threes. They can score at all 3 levels, and they're very dangerous. And I think they had some tough losses last year, similar to like a Clemson type team where they had some tough losses, and because of that, they're better this year. They're more experienced, older, and they've been through it now, and they've played together. So, they're a much more confident basketball team.
Does this go to show you what really the ACC is like? I mean, this is a team that was picked near the bottom, and they're as dangerous as anybody.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, all you got to do is watch the Duke game, which I know that was early in December, but then just go watch the Virginia game at Virginia. I mean, they had 2 looks at it at the end of the game to try to win the game. And, I mean, they beat a very good Florida State team the other night. So they're playing with a lot of confidence right now. They had almost a week off before they play us to prepare for us. So they're going to come in there and give us their absolute best shot. And if we don't give the same thing back to them, we're going to have our hands full.
Is this the deepest you've seen this league? I mean, it's always been good, but they've always had 3, 4, 5 teams at the bottom that aren't really very good.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, just in the, what is this, our 4th year in the league now, I think, and it's just, I would say it is deepest from top to bottom. You know, each year seems like there's been 8, 9, 10 teams that have made the tournament or had a chance to. You know, this year it's going to be interesting to see the win-loss record of the top 3 or 4 teams in the league. You know, whoever wins it could have 4 or 5 losses. You never know. It's that type of year, and usually there's a top, there's a middle, and there's a bottom. You know, I don't know if there's anything but a top this year. I think there's 15 teams that are all very talented and capable of beating anybody on any given night.
What do you think? Q scored his 1,000th point on Tuesday night. He's been around in his whole career here. What do you think he's brought to Louisville?
I don't know if you can put into words what Q's brought. You know, he's come a long way. He's worked extremely hard. He deserves everything that comes his way, not only because he's a great player, but he's an even better kid. I mean, he's extremely low maintenance. He spends more time in the gym than, you know, probably as anybody we've ever had in this program. I mean, he just absolutely loves to play basketball, and you know, he just is. He's really playing well for us right now. But that's what he's been doing since midway through his freshman year. You know, he gets thrown into a tough spot in January or February of his freshman year, and takes us almost all the way to the Final Four. So, you know, he's been through a lot here, but he's never complained, not one time in his whole tenure here, and he just wants to play. That's all he wants to do. He's the epitome of a kid that just wants to play basketball. You know, he's going to get his degree here this spring, and you know, he's about as good of a kid as you'll ever come across, and you know, we're extremely lucky to have him in a lot of regards.
Get back down on one more thing. Have you noticed any, with him coming off the bench, any difference in effectiveness, productivity? I mean, is there any difference? I mean, is it helping, do you think? Or,
You know, he and Ray have played a little bit less together than they had earlier in the year. You know, whether or not that's a reason why we've been playing better, I'm not real sure. Obviously, it's easier to stay out of foul trouble when they're not both playing a lot of minutes together. But, you know, I kind of just realized at some point, you know, we need to have one of them on the floor at all times, whether it's Ray or Hannes. And they're valuable. The juniors and seniors have been through a lot. They know what needs to be done. And so, you know, his time has probably gone down a little bit just because he's splitting up with Ray instead of playing with Ray. But, you know, he comes in the other night, plays almost the entire second half in both overtimes, and has a couple block shots that probably helped us win the game. So, you know, Hannes, whatever you need Hannes to do, he's going to do. You know, he and I obviously have a very good relationship, and he just wants us to win. That's the only thing he cares about, and he'll do whatever's asked of him, but he's a very, very valuable part of this team.
How much has Ray moved forward even just since the start of the season? I mean, I know all season he worked really hard.
Yeah, I think Ray's starting to kind of, you know, see the success of the hard work he put in the offseason. He came a long way. He changed his body. He got stronger. And he's just playing with a lot of confidence right now. And, you know, the way I can really tell that is the other night, those 2 free throw line area jump shots he hit. You know, he spent a lot of time improving his jump shot. We made a point of throwing the ball inside to him there down the stretch. And, you know, he just is, where before, maybe last year, the year before he did that, he would kind of think too much and not really, he would overthink himself and make it more difficult than he needed to. Now, I mean, he's just playing with that confidence where he wants the ball in there because he knows he can score. And it just, a lot of it is just confidence, honestly, just being older, being a junior, having played a lot of basketball, and it's really, really good to see, not only for him, but it's really helping our team play well.
What would you like to see, like, from him from here on, ideally, if you were to see the Ray Spalding you wanted, where would his improvement be still?
You know, obviously, he needs to try to average for the rest of the season double-figure rebounds, not only for our team, but for his own sake. But again, it's like we've talked about, not to get too off track here, but with the rebounding thing, you know, we can't just rely on one guy. I mean, Ray's a very good rebounder, especially on the offensive end of the court, but we can't just rely on one guy to rebound. So, you know, we all need to get better in that area, but Ray just needs to keep playing at a high level, you know, just be consistent every day in practice, every game out, and just continue to bring that intensity and that focus like he had the other night. You know, I could just tell at the start of that game the other night, he just had a different look about him. He's kind of stepping into that spotlight type role now, where he's not so much just a you know, a role player anymore. He's kind of the focal point, and he's embracing it. You know, because for some guys, it's not easy to embrace, and he's starting to embrace it. He's being more vocal, and you know, it's really helping our basketball team and helping him.
Listening to